and we're going to try something a little bit different today. I wanted to really let us have the feel and as well as the look of nature cooperating. Not sure if you can hear the lovely birds, but there are many here today. This is episode 95 of Ancient Future Wisdom, and today we are inviting, calling in, and embodying the peacefulness and the cooperativeness of nature to address and ease some of our own inner conflict, as well as dedicating that energy to the conflict going on right now in Israel. And there are many other conflicts going on around the world, of course. And we know that when there is inner peace and tranquility, that radiates not only to those around us, but can be not only felt, but actually affect other areas and aspects of our earth. There have been many studies. Probably the most famous one was done several years ago in regard to violence in Washington, D.C., and there was a group of dedicated prayer, or a dedicated prayer practice. And again, that wasn't religious as much as everyone that participated bringing in their own aspects of spirituality. So they gathered together at specific times, not in person, but at that time it was before Zoom, but the time was dedicated, or a specific time was dedicated for prayer and holding the violence in Washington, D.C. In that space of prayer and spirituality. And they actually took measurements or watched the statistics, and there was an absolute physical evidence of reduction of crime during the period where this practice experiment was going on. That's only one of many, and those of you who are very aware of the energetics in the world and beyond know that there is and can be an effect from one area to another, that you do not need an electronic medium or other means of transmitting energy other than that. Some people refer to it as intention. I tend to see it as a deep feeling that is for and on behalf of either self or another or a group. So today, I think we will not actually walk the labyrinth. That I do have planned for probably next week. And there's a robin joining us today on the sundial, as well as multiple birds up in the trees. And there's been very strong inner conflict in clients and friends and colleagues this week. And of course we, again, with this work, have spoken about and addressed the fact that what we as individuals are experiencing is also present on the larger stage or the larger scale. And as we resolve those personal challenges, so too does that aspect evolve out of human nature and the human experience. So we have a little bit of a disruption, and that's a hard one always for me, to hear the sound of trees being cut. I'm hoping it is only wood, and if it continues, I will move back inside so we can have a more deep sense of peace and quiet. And so I invite each one of you to just find a comfortable seat, comfortable position to be seated in, and preferably find your sits bones, which are those bones in the very center of your each buttocks cheek, and that allows your skeletal structure a firm base. It also tends to open up your first chakra and life force point so that you can receive, take in that which is constantly being offered and transmitted from the earth, which is a huge life force energy, tapping into the very river of life, as well as constant movement and regeneration and just filling aspects of earth with that life force, with that earth energy, for not only the continuation of life, but the vibrancy and the vitality and the energy that feeds the body, in this case, the cells, the tissues, glands, organs, the skeletal system itself. And of course, in nature, it feeds the land and the soil and the microbes in the soil and the trees and the plants and everything that depends on and benefits from that. And that is a beautifully intricate and very sophisticatedly designed system with ecosystem and all of their dependencies, or dependence rather, and those, how can I say it? It's an interdependence that goes on. There's an interrelatedness. And when those cycles are broken or in any way thrown out of balance, then the physical earth itself is affected. And one thing very quickly, it's a very quick domino effect. One thing affecting the other. For example, in my yard here, there are a new type of vine, an invasive type of vine that we're finding all over southern New Jersey, at least. Actually, I've seen it up in northern New Jersey as well, probably further. It is not native to this country, and certainly not to this area. And if you'll notice as you're driving along, it wraps itself around trees. It looks kind of like ivy, but it is not. And it is actually strangling and suffocating the trees. So if you see it anywhere, you just have to cut a patch in between along the vine. It comes off very easily, but do what you can to help remove it from the trees so they don't get strangled and die, which is happening all over. So that is a balance that is being thrown off, because when the trees die and or cut down, as you can hear from the saw, I'm assuming you can, it really, again, does not allow for the constancy of support and cycling and recycling of life, and from one plant or tree to the birds, and birds eating the seeds and dropping them and allowing the propagation of that particular plant or tree. The very microbes in the soil, the fungi in the soil and on the top of the soil, is what allows for the recycling of nutrients to us, through us, not only in our food, but through the air and the water and everything around us. So it behooves us to pay attention and to feel and commune, and more importantly, to cooperate with nature. We've been interacting with the earth as a conqueror and in a controlling way, and a very taking way. And many would feel the same about the situation in Israel right now, or other areas where there is a conquering force and a controlling force, and constantly taking. This goes back throughout our history. And interestingly enough, some of the clients that showed up this week had been working with pieces from very early childhood, where they were being, of course, in a way conquered, for the parents have all the power and the ability to make decisions, and a child does not. And when they're in a very tender or a very open place, and certain statements are made, behaviors or actions are perpetrated, that effect creates an inner conflict of a denial of one's essence self, and the need to go along with or buy into what is being said through those actions or through those words. So this conflict continues throughout childhood and into adulthood, where we negate and deny our inner knowing, where we shut down our essence impulses, our natural way of being and feeling and speaking, out of fear of the repercussions or mistrust of our own inner desires, our own inner knowing, our natural way of being. And that hurts, and it throws the system out of balance with this constant inner conflict. One part of you wants to go ahead with something or feels a certain way, coming from a very natural and essence place, and yet your head and defense system tells you that that is either dangerous, or that it's not going to be wanted, or it's not going to be accepted, or you will not receive what you deeply want and need if you pursue that. We have another sort of invader in the yard. I don't know if you can see or hear the jackal. And these are scavengers, and they actually continue to attack the smaller birds and steal their eggs. And again, in the bird world, this is in part a natural part of the cycle, but we don't have enough larger animals and larger birds that would normally keep the population of the jackerel in check. So there is an overabundance. You may see them. They're the black birds with a rather long square tail and bright yellow eyes and often a yellow beak. And again, when the system is out of balance, there is an overabundance. They kill the smaller baby birds and eggs, and we have more imbalance in the system. So today we're going to bring in both that which is creating imbalance, because there is purpose for it ultimately. Although it's difficult to see how an imbalance between peoples that have originated in the same area can be in such conflict, such as what's going on in Israel. So now that you've hopefully found your sitz bones, I'm going to invite you to also just allow your shoulder blades to just kind of slide down your back and slightly together, which brings your chest up and out a little bit, not forcefully so, but just automatically so. And that allows your skeletal system to take over and be the framework for your body, so that you don't have to consciously hold your body up. And gratefully the saw has stopped, so that you're hearing hopefully just the birds and the silence of nature in its natural state. There is a peacefulness that you can very palpably feel from the trees, from the grass and ground cover. And Lady Labyrinth is here in all of her depth, bringing us the core of the earth, as well as Father Sky, cloud beings, and they are another life form with their own wisdom, their own knowledge, their own intelligence, just as the trees and plants may be different than ours, but no less sentient and no less an expression of the divine. That is ultimately what this evolutionary process is about. It's coming to acknowledge and give respect and value to other human beings, other animal beings, plant and tree beings, water beings, and they are being. and therefore an integral part of this Project Earth. So just acknowledging the intricate and interdependent systems within the body, your very body, and how an imbalance in the emotions or thoughts can create conflict and ultimately dis-ease. Allowing the breath to be breathed. No effort, no work, no push. Simply noticing how the breath is moving through your system. And when there is great flow and circulation of oxygen, enlivening, feeding, perpetuating, rejuvenating, every cell, each system cooperating with one another, each aspect of the body interconnecting, collaborating, and allow yourself to not only see what is coming through visually on the camera, but allow yourself to receive what the trees and the land and the grass, plants, flowers, what they are sending forth from their very beingness. Very different than simply seeing or visualizing or imagining their sentience and life force, but instead to open your system to take in and be felt by the tree, the sky, the clouds, birds, the amazing insects that allow this world to continue spinning with their constant work and purpose. Allow yourself to feel that beautiful interdependence, the back and forth from you to the tree, from the tree to you, from the very soil itself. When it is healthy and in balance, simply by walking on or communing with that soil, the micronutrients in your body can be rebalanced. It is a wonderfully designed system between and among all the parts, between and among humans and nature. For although nature in many ways does not need humans, but being in relationship allows nature to flourish and give and shine and share from its essence. Receive the essence of nature. Feel it in your body. Allow your body to reach out and touch and be touched. Allow your energy field to commune with. This perpetuates the relationship and allows nature to stay in balance when we respect and value and collaborate, cooperate with nature. Enabling that energy of cooperation, communication, connection, collaboration, and communion. To be channeled from you through your interaction and relationship with nature. Sending, transmitting, radiating that energy through your body for optimum health, through your energy field to allow for expansion and recalibration to its optimum. Soothing and smoothing the inner conflicts, primarily between your essence self and those mistaken perceptions and beliefs about who you are and who you are not. Your innate in the upper abdomen can be felt and sourced and accessed allowing the truth of you to be felt, experienced, not just thought. Now allow the sounds and smells and the very air in this area is clean and fresh from moisture and ideal temperatures. Allow the breath to take you inward to that place where you feel the union between you and nature, you and the divine, you and your essence self. And as you drop ever more deeply down and in, experiencing the cooperation, the collaboration, the communion, the connection. Allow that to be transmitted, radiated, exuded from you. To perhaps any conflicts closer to home, in family or friends. And deepening one level more. Expanding your reach, widening that sphere of influence, if you will. To the Middle East, to the conflict in Israel, to the conflict in Afghanistan, to the conflict in so many places. And the largest conflict of all between man and the earth. feeling that deeper knowing. The union, the interrelatedness of all that is on this planet and beyond. Allow that to fill and overflow your system. You need not effort to send, for that is unnecessary. That is using will. The deeper you sit in your own internal interconnection, interrelatedness, communication, collaboration between and among your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies automatically is felt and experienced wherever your attention, your feeling directs. For the deeper you feel this tranquility and balance, the more it will be experienced. Bringing forth a little blossom, a little growth, of that tranquility and cooperativeness. Knowing that at any point in time you can simply drop down and inside of you, experiencing the truth of you. And filling your system physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and holding any location or situation close to home or far away. You will automatically be transmitting, channeling to that place or conflict. And without leading in this moment with your head. Let that go and simply follow. Feel and follow your energy field, your wider selves. Lead in this process of returning to a more physical experience from perhaps what was a less physical experience. Just as the flowers open in their own way and in their own timing, allow your system to do so organically in your particular way and timing and pace. And I encourage you to spend as much time as you can in nature, allowing all of your senses to participate and experience, communicate, connect with, commune with, cooperate with, collaborate with. For wherever you are doing so, nature receives, you receive. There is a back and forth that feeds and nourishes and enlivens and develops that relationship. And in the meantime, have a fabulous weekend. I will see you, of course, next Friday at 12 o'clock. And I will be sending out invitations for a new Facebook group where I will be doing daily insights, inspiration, or weekly trainings or meditations. That will be for those who want to participate, all offering to you, for you, on behalf of the earth and this process of evolution. Until next time, as always, it is with deep gratitude, honor, and love for your presence here on this planet at this time. Be well. Bye-bye.